my distinguished colleague in the Council of Ministers, Professor K.V. Thomas, my distinguished colleagues in Parliament, Sri P.C. Chaku, Sri Rajiv, my dear old friend, former Finance Ministers of Kerala, Sri K.D. Mani, Sri Amarjit Chopra, President, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Sri Ramaswamy, Vice President, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Sri Babu Abraham, Chairman of the Institute of South Indian Regional Councils, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a very pleasant occasion for me to be present at the 42nd Annual Conference of the Southern Indian Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I believe this is a prestigious annual event which has become well known for deliberating topical issues of professional importance to your association, and also issues like international financial reporting standards, imminent implementation of various reforms in the area of economy, and also your role in playing a proactive capacity for future of our reporting and disclosure framework, which needs attention of a forum such as this. Indian economy is moving onward. Just a decade ago, if somebody could have projected the state of economy as it is today, there would have been a few takers of such projection. Continuous GDP growth at the annual average of 8.5% for 5 years. Despite the international slowdown and fiscal crisis, the booming stock market and resurgent manufacturing sector, expanding financial sector speak of the expanding growth of Indian economy. When your chairman, while introducing the subject to you, was correctly pointing out that almost at all international fora, it has become a catchword, growth in India and China. This is the achievement not of any individual or group of individuals or of the government. This come. All our major problems, and we have achieved the goal where we want to go. The growth rate must be sustained for a longer period of time, not less than 10 to 15 years. If we want to address the problem of poverty, illiteracy, disease, endemics, and other backwardness. It requires the inclusive growth, empowerment of a large section of the people who are still outside the mainstream of the national activities. And this empowerment cannot be done by merely announcing the policies and documenting it as a developmental strategy. For practical purposes, to make it effective and implementable, empowerment must be backed by entitlement. Entitlement must be followed by enactment, creating the right which can be justiciable. Keeping that parameter and paradigm of the new model of growth, which epitomizes in the words of inclusive growth, we have ensured that certain essential rights are to be given to the people, and for that, necessary legislations will have to be made. Right to information, right to job for the jobless people in the rural areas, right to universal education in the age group of 6 to 14, are all enacted keeping that in view. We are fully aware the tremendous financial requirements and investments which are to be made, and for that the modality and an important vehicle is the public-private partnership. You are one of the most important components as an institution in this gigantic task of transforming the economy of 120 crores plus people on a sustainable basis. I must congratulate Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for their initiative to work with the financial institutions in streamlining and fine-tuning the financial reporting, auditing, and accounting architecture of India. Such efforts create greater awareness among the stakeholders about the challenges and opportunities that we have before us and help in identifying issues that need to be addressed for accelerating and sustaining the developmental tempo. The government is aware of the fact that India's economic legislation needs to be progressive and in tune with the global norms and best practices. Keeping that in view, we have introduced the Direct Tax Code Bill. It is under the scrutiny of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, and perhaps for the first time, on a legal enactment, we had massive consultation. In August 2009, I put it in the website, invited national debate from all stakeholders, had series of meetings and discussions, received number of suggestions, modified the proposals in the view of the suggestions which were received from various stakeholders, and have submitted it for the parliamentary scrutiny which is undergoing through the process of further scrutiny, and after that it will receive the seal of approval of Parliament. And to my mind, this is going to be one of the major tax reforms. Another tax legislations to have GST. We have initiated action. Constitution amendments will be required. The scheme of taxation, which was visualized in the Indian Constitution in 1950, when we adopted it, are going to be radically changed in the goods and services tax, where both and center, states and center, will have the taxation capacity and legislative competence in the same areas. On the one hand, it requires constitutional amendment, a major constitutional amendment. On the